Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Play King's Bounty the Legend, Win or Fair Fight, and the Legendary Warrior. I have problems of my own. My microphone was damaged, so I have to not replay everything, but I have to record the speech for it, the sound, more or less. So, what are we doing? We're trying to get our items under control. Why is this good? Because there you can train. These battles are the same. So if you fight the crown once, it's basically the same fight every time. Sometimes the turrets change their color. Red goblin towers are the ones that do damage spells. The brown gremlin towers are the ones that call reinforcements. With that being known, you can use this to, for example, refill your forces with sacrifice, train your rage spirits. There's a lot of what you can do. And of course, the items get better, or you get the item under control if it's out of control. It's not that hard most of the time. You can tell the strength, one by the troops you're against, and the other by the hit points of the towers. So there are battles where the towers have over 7,000 life points, so that is quite a lot. With that being said, please remember that the towers, and well, not towers, but the forces normally reflect the item. So, for example, if you're fighting the Crown of the Elves, big surprise, you're fighting elven troops. If you're fighting the boots of the pirates, you will be fighting marauders and pirates and that kind of stuff. If you're fighting undead, for example, don't bring your dryads with you because they will do nothing. They cannot put undead to sleep. That's not how it works. If you can, take down the red turrets first, because they do most of the time AoE damage, like 4 fireballs or even worse, chain lightnings and stuff like that. So please be aware of that. With that being said, here at the moment you can see the tower. He's just calling in reinforcements all the time. But not a lot. So, I would not say that you can ignore the brown turrets, but they're not as hazardous as the others. Of course, if these are very, very powerful turrets with high life points, they will call in more forces than the others would. On the other hand, though, the more turrets, the more forces they call, the more training you get, basically. Yeah, this is easy kill here. The crown, even though it's a very high level item, I think it's tier 5, isn't that strong in the forces. Mainly because the forces it has aren't that dangerous. Most of them are either slow or simply very easy to control with sleep. Try that against undead, try that against demons, and boy, you will be in for a fight for your money. I can guarantee you that much. We should also train and talk about our rage spirits, or about my rage spirits, because I did some good, I did some wrong. So we got the battle with the Crown 1, which is excellent. Payment sucks, but who cares? Now this is the Ice Orb or the Gizmo. We take the Gizmo because the Gizmo can give you extra turns. That's the... It doesn't say that here. It says healing and damage and stuff. But what it actually does, it gives you an extra turn, your unit, that it buffs. And it can revive dead creatures. So, for example, if you have no way of healing black dragons, ta-da! You have one. So the question is, what item do we upgrade next? We could pay this. We could talk to the mask and upgrade it by paying money, or we just beat the living hell out of it. Now the problem here is this is demons. That is not that much of a problem, because if it were low level demons, we can still put them to sleep. However, that doesn't work here because these are succubi. And these succubi are level 4, and putting people to sleep with the Dryad only works to level 3, so you kind of see the problem, do you? With that being said, the fastest normally is, of course, the Archdemon. These guys are incredibly fast. However, we have the benefit that we have the skill from the warrior tree that increases the initiative of all undead, which means our necromancers, who are also already pretty damn fast, are now even faster with that. We're trying to do as much damage as we can. We should absolutely put these people to sleep like ASAP. And we should try to get distance between all our forces, because there is 4 red towers. So these guys will be doing fireballs and lightning and all the good stuff. And that is not really something we're into. The question is what to cast. We could have tried to neutralize the succubi by using the chains that you deactivate their abilities, then they cannot teleport you around, which would have been beautiful. Didn't do that though. We're trying to take down more towers. The more towers, the better, they say. Simply because less fireballs on our heads. This increases our initiative because we're getting an initiative bonus for all our forces in the first turn only. This will be gone in the second turn. 10,000 damage, that's how we like it. I'm trying to take out as many turrets as I humanly can. This will increase our initiative and morale. Our morale is good anyway, but this is even better. And look at that, 17,000 damage. Yeah, forget about the damage ability of your Rage Spirits. There is some of the Rage Spirits that can technically do a lot of damage. Practically not so much. And here she comes. Oh boy, 977. That's 122 dead archers. That's a lot. And the red turret decided not to do an attack spell, but to do a support spell, which is not that usual. We're turning back time to not lose any skeletons. Replacing skeletons is kind of hard because they're not normally sold in the starting areas. You have to go to the Land of the Dead to replenish them, and that's kind of a hustle. And we're obviously not a fan of that. So, question is, what do we cast? What do we do? Okay, we blind this one. This is good because that means she's out for 2 turns unless we damage her. If we damage her, all that good stuff is gone in an instant. Good thing about the Dryads, they can not only put people to sleep and call in plants, they can also, and that's really a bummer, attack without counter-attacking. And that's pretty awesome. It's a little bit dangerous to attack with the demons because they count as males, if I remember that right. And when they count as males, what will happen is that the succubi can technically evade the attack. That is possible. Wow! How did he do that? He's alive by, I don't know, an inch. Maybe some very, very low life points, but I have no other way to do damage than to overkill, basically, with 8,000 damage apiece. That's how it goes. Little lady moves. These succubi are not that mobile, technically speaking. Yeah, that's a terrible choice, because that will wake up. That will wake up the sleeping and the blinded ones. That was not a clever move. Not by any chance. Terrible choice. Terrible choice. But that's how it is. Okay. Shot her for good. Don't wonder about the sights on the side. I'm trying to, since I have my hands free, I don't have to play. I'm trying to cover some of my injuries. Got some leg injuries. Always have problems with the legs. Question is, I could make a copy of myself. I'll put them to sleep. Hoping that I can kill the imps in one go, which my archers should technically be capable of doing. Because the archers really do a lot of damage. Especially the skeleton archers. They're very easy to kill, they're like glass cannons. But they got the job done good. And I think that's with her. with it. Yeah, they're dead. How much damage? 7,500. Oh, I expected more. Okay. We will not fire first because we just want to want the time off that she's not able to do anything this turn. We just waited, and now we can pummel her as much as we like because she lost the turn already. Maybe we're lucky we get a super shot. No, we don't. But now she's dead. Good work, everybody. 23,000. Last fight was about 7,000. This is not bad. -1 to enemy initiative isn't that bad, but ours is better at the moment. And we don't need the bonus rage, if we're honest to ourselves. We could upgrade the druid staff simply because we might build an animal army for the last fight. That is totally possible. And we have 2 of the druid staff. This one is the other one. And we can upgrade them both to the super ones. And then I think you get 5 or 10% more or 20% more to all animals. However, not everything counts as an animal, strangely. That is technically an animal. You could argue that humans are technically animals. That depends on your view. If you don't see it from a biological angle. Spiders, strangely enough, doesn't count as animals because spiders are animals. They're not insects, obviously, but insects are also animals, as spiders are. Well, everything that's not a plant, a mushroom, or living is basically an animal. Well, it goes into biology, but you know what I want to say. So spiders are animals. At last I checked. So this is rather small, very magic heavy, if you ask me. It's the Ring of Mana, so that makes sense. Remember to stay away from each other if you miss one of the turrets. There are four red towers, goblin towers. And they're all gone because they had no life points. Oh boy, what a shame. Most of the guys are dead now anyway. This will be a fight over in seconds. We may be able to take him over. Then we could sacrifice him and get some forces. That would be fun. Question is, what do we want? Skeletons, never bad, never bad. Skeletons are always a perfect choice. It would make sense to take troops that we will use in the end fight, maybe. Which archers are not for different reasons. Yeah, we haven't learned all the spells. Hypnosis is a good spell, especially in conjunction with sacrifice, because you can take over enemy troops and then sacrifice them. However, there is a big caveat to that, because that's super mana intensive. Like, if you're a mage, you can do this, especially because you can cast 2 spells in the first 3 turns. So basically, you can pull something off like that. But with everything else, this is hardcore. Because you will run dry after 1 turn, unless you're doing something super freaky. Okay, the problem with the necromancers are super versatile. They can do basically everything. They can... the Shackles is super, the Revived Dead is super, the Pestilence is a little bit... if you're not... if you're fighting undead, it's useless. If you have mixed troops or living troops in your army, it's kind of dangerous. But they're super fast, they do AoE. All in all, beautiful. We must stop this horseman, however, because he can technically reach us. And he's not sleeping because he's too high in level. He cannot be put to sleep. Yeah, a wall is good because it doesn't count. It's not important how many hit points the wall has. With 26, even if you've maxed it out with 26 horsemen, they would destroy the wall anyway. But this will take his turn, and he will not be able to do anything. Yeah, 600. I think if you maxed it out, it has more than 1,000. So technically speaking, he would be capable of doing that. We need to train our rage spirits. So when the game started, all the way back, I told you go for the poison rain, because that is one of the most damaging rage abilities in the game. Most of the rage abilities, when it comes to damage, are useless, or not useless, but not your first pick. Because technically, they will never do enough damage. No way in hell. I mean, if you're playing this on the highest difficulty level and you're fighting in the games later on, you'll fight, I don't know, it's 300 polar bears, and you do 1,000 damage to them, and they're like, what is this supposed to do? And you say, oh, if I max my time rage spirit out, it does 2,000 something damage, and so what? What does that do? This is 5,000 damage, and I've got 5 of these on the field. You know what I mean? So it's not gonna change anything if you do that damage. However, the abilities that are not damage related, your rage abilities, they are the ones that count. Oh yes, they are. Because they get the job done. The gizmo gives one of your troops another turn from the ice tree, which means you do 16,000 damage. Try to do that with the time rage spirit. Yes, you say if there's 20 enemies on the field, I do 20 times 2,000 damage, and then that's more. Yes, but that's not useful because you're not taking one enemy out. You're just, delaying it or spreading it up. So that's not really helping anything. Why do we make a copy? Because we can put people to sleep again. That's the simple. Dryads, not there for the damage, even though they can, unless you're fighting something that has magic immunity. But back to the topic, the rage spirits. So, rage spirits damage, forget it. In the beginning, yes, yes. Later on, no, no, because no use. Nothing compared to what these guys can do. 22,000 damage. Give him a gizmo, fire 2 turns, and you do 40,000 damage. Not the thing. So, forget about the damage stuff. What you really want is the stuff that does no damage, but helps you with a problem you have. For example, the horsemen. Big group. Let's say this is 2,600 horsemen. Doesn't matter if it's 2,600, 20,000, 100,000 horsemen. Doesn't make a difference. You make the wall, and it will keep them occupied a turn. No matter how strong they are. And that's the great part. That brings us to the following conclusion. Look at the poison rage guy, the reptile. Poison spit, forget it. Very little damage, and the poisoning. I mean, honestly, who are you going to impress with that? Why did we just fight that? Why did we just go to this magic school? Because they replenish our mana each time we talk to them. So now we can just fight and 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 fight, and we'll always have all the mana we love and we need. So the reptile rage thing, the reptile rage thing. Poison spit, too little damage. The fishies, fun, but far too little damage. Very funny in the beginning, can do a lot in the beginning, not so much later on. Poison cloud can do a lot of damage technically. Practically, not so much. Why is that, you ask? Very simple. For one, this thing travels around, and for second, if the enemy is undead, poison you, or anything else, this thing will not do as much damage as you think it does. So, big problem there. Which leaves us with the only ability that really rocks, that I underestimated for a very, very, very long time, and that's the Armor of Gloth, I think it's called, or Loth, or whatever. This egg thing. It immobilizes your unit, which is bad. It only has absolutely insignificant amounts of life points. It's destroyed basically instantly whenever it's hit by anybody. But the point is, yes, the shield goes away, but it soaks up all the damage that you get. If someone hits you, and you've got that cloth armor thing around you, this thing now here that we see, and someone does 1,000,000 damage to you, yes, the shield will fade, because it did more damage than the shield can protect against. Well, actually, that the shield can take, because the rest of the damage is not transferred to your unit, the rest of the damage is negated. And that is awesome. That is really, really, really good. So if you want to protect someone, this is the way. No matter how many people are hitting him, he doesn't care. The Armor of Gloth will take the damage. So train that up. Not so much for how much damage it takes, because that is totally irrelevant. That will not make any difference, whatever. If you can upgrade it, and it says, oh, I upgrade how many hit points I can take. I can absorb. That's useless. Throw that away. Never take it. No reason. What you should take is when it says either cost of casting it, or activating it, or time for cooldown, because that is the killer here. 50%. Oh, it's 50% to attack of animals. Remember, not everything you think is an animal is an animal. Most of the stuff is not actually an animal. Because if you could bind that, we have 2 of these belts of the spider. We could equip 2 belts, and that our spiders would do 100% more damage, and then we make a whole spider army, you know, like fire spider, undead spider, poison spider, cave spider. Did I mention fire spider? Oh man, there's the cave spider, the poison spider, the fire spider, the undead spider. I think that's it. There's only 4 of them. And then you take something that loves animals. Well, spiders are not animals according to the game, but you know what I mean. You could build an amazing damaged spider army with this. We're staying together because there's only 1 red turret, and I think we can take the red turret down in the tower down. I would say turret, but it's actually towers, not turrets. The fire spiders are immune to mind tricks, as are the plants. Keep that in mind. Plants don't give a damn about mind things. They're too stupid to react on that. Back to the Rage Spirits. So, Rage Spirits, first one, slam, go for gloss armor, but only if it's offered reduction in cost or reduction in cooldown. Damage, forget that. That will never make any difference at all. This guy here, the fire guy, same thing. You've got the sword. It does double damage to mages, by the way, if you ever need that. But the sword, forget it. The spikes, yeah, they hit everything on the field, everyone on the field, and that does damage, and that might, you know, count up to something, but in the end it is not. Keep in mind that if you play later variations of the game, do not engage fire spiders in close combat, because they will put some of the damage back to you. So just so you know. Boris told you, yeah? You know? I warned you. Bad idea. So the fire guy. You've got the spikes from the ground, does damage, but no. You've got the sword, nice, but no. You've got the meteor storm, very restricted area of damage. You can engage, enlarge that, but the damage will still be uninteresting, so not interested. And you've got this wall, so the only thing you're ever gonna use really in the higher fights is the wall, because the rest will make no difference at all. That is the stuff, the Archmage stuff. If you level this up, strangely enough, it gives you a bonus to lightning, which in some with you makes sense because that is the stuff that the mages actually use, the archmages. However, there's not that much that does lightning damage beside them, so that's kind of a not so useful ability when you think of it. Yeah, Underground Blades does double damage. How much did it do? Oh my god, it does in total, I don't know, 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000 damage. Let's be generous. Say 12,000 damage. Yeah, well, how impressive. The next one is a hard one, that is the Ice Lady. The problem with the Ice Lady is that she has two amazing abilities. Actually, more than two. You've got the Ball of Ice, which can do insane amounts of damage if you position him that he can roll over the entire battlefield, because he gets a damage bonus the further he goes. And trust me, this guy can go everywhere to the end. He can roll over the entire battlefield, and if he has enough spaces to roll over, he will kill everyone. He will do 10,000 damage. No problem if you leveled him up even more, easily. Problem with that is... he's very slow on initiative, so... mostly the enemy has left the area. Unless you can really well predict where it's going, it's not going to do what you like it to do. It will not be there. Yeah, they hate the skeletons for some reason. I'm a sheep! No, I hate you! I cannot even kill a turret. That's a bummer. Oh, I killed the mages. Then we have the with the Ice Lady, we have the ice walls, which are more useful than the firewalls because it's more area that covers, and that's really great. That's amazing. You can, especially in the later fights when you've got dragons and that kind of stuff on the field, you can block your forces out so that they cannot even reach them, which is fantastic. Trust me on that one. Absolutely amazing. Very good. Very good. Always underestimated that, but very good. By the way, if you use the ice ball, the enemy for some reason prefers to fight the ice ball than fighting anyone else. No idea why is that. No clue. They just hate this ice ball. I would hate these guys because they do amazing amounts of damage. He's buffing himself up to do more damage, but there's only two of them. And he does 19 damage. Yeah, we were not interested in that. We must take the tower down, which we did beautifully. Next ability of the Ice Lady is the balls of mana and rage. This is absolutely beautiful. You can replenish your mana this way. Absolutely amazing. Very, very good. You can get mana, you could get rage, and you get a bonus to movement. So if you walk over this, walking this field doesn't take any movement points. So you get basically one movement for free, which is great. Only problem with that is technically that it works for the enemy as well. So if the enemy walks over them, you're not getting the mana, you're not getting the rage, but they're getting the movement bonus. So, you know, could backfire if you don't know what you're doing. And of course, the best ability with the Ice Lady in my eyes is the Gizmo, because for one, the Gizmo can heal high-level units that can normally not be healed. And the Gizmo gives always an extra turn for the... Well, not always. You have to activate the ability. So in the beginning, he cannot do that. But I think with the first or second upgrade you get, you can take this ability. And that is absolutely beautiful. Now, everyone is awake. That was kind of stupid. What was I thinking there? Nobody knows. That was borderline stupid. It doesn't care. So if you train up the Ice Lady, it's kind of a hard pick. But there is a way. There is a way. I will come to that in a second, because there is a method to that. The Lord of Time, the Time Rage Spirit, also not that difficult. Because, yes, most people go for the black hole thing, where he sucks everyone in and everybody dies screaming. Which is nice, but in the end, it doesn't really do enough damage. What you really, really want is the turn back time thing, because that works up to level 5. So you can basically nullify all damage done to you just by using these guys. I mean, that's amazing. Whoa, he lives. Question is, can we do damage? Soul Draining can technically... Soul Draining is always good because it's super cheap and gives you extra rage. No, Rage Draining, that is. That's amazing. Because that gives you a big bonus. Look at that. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. You have to love this. Then there is the Soul Draining, which destroys a percentage of the enemy. I think it goes up to 60% if you train it up really, really high. Can so do a lot of damage, but not kill anyone. So, you know, have to like it. Very situational. Would not be my first pick. Not in a million years. So, it's the turn back time. It's the soul stealing, it's the rage draining, and it's the black hole. I would technically always go for the time drawing back until basically every time, because reducing cost, perfect. Reducing cooldown time, even better. Reducing or enhancing the number of the tier it's working on up to tier 5, absolutely amazing. With that being said, you asked Boris, now you've talked a lot about what is good, what is not good. How do I pick and when do I pick it? Basically, if you've got to pick a non-damage ability, pick the non-damage ability. Then, if you've got an ability that works no matter how good the thing you call is, for example, the wall of fire, fire spikes, the ice spikes, the ice ball, this is all basically just blockers. So, there is important, if you take that, just take it not for the hit points, take it for the duration, for the cooldown, or for the cost. And first pick is always the Gizmo, the Mana Balls, the Armor of Cloth, and the Turn Back Time thing. And mainly for looking for cooldown of turns and cost reduction. Not so much for effect, because none of this really have an effect that you won't. I mean, the balls of the Mana and Rage, the more Rage is in there, that's kind of interesting. The Gizmo, everything's good. Cooldown time is good, more healing is good, more damage, don't care, but that's not something you can choose because you can either, normally enhances both. Cost of rage is good, cost of a reduction of cooldown is good, always good, pick these. This is kind of dangerous, but he cannot strike back, so we're safe somehow, I would guess. Yes, no, perhaps. Yes, we're. Safe play. Beautiful. Shoot them to smithereens, which we did. Turn back time. Yeah, I've wasted a lot of picks for stuff I don't really need. You could technically say you don't train the others to focus completely, but I'm not sure this is really gonna work. I think we can free the armor of the little guy. What else do we have? This is all up. There's nothing we can upgrade here. Nah. The boots are ready. The armor of the dwarves. That is a strange piece of armor because it only works on. Well, it does not only work on small people because it works on humans, for example. It doesn't work on demons, even though they're not that much bigger than humans are. Not sure if it works on elves. Never tested that, but I mean, 30% more attack and 30% more defense is quite awesome. Problem here is most of the jerks on the field are not level 3 or lower, they're level 4. So putting them to sleep will not do anything. That's kind of a bummer. And the alchemists are one of the most dangerous in my eyes because they can do AoE. They've got a variety of damage, and they soak up damage like beautiful. Not so much useful when you have them because their damage output in total isn't that high. They just damage a lot of units normally, which makes it hard for you to turn back time or resurrect people. So kind of a problem. Question is, how do we get them down? Acid Spray, technically they're ranged fighters, but with a very, very limited range. Yeah, you could shackle them. When you shackle them, what will happen is they will try to go into close combat. No idea why I'm going there. I should try to put everyone to sleep and stay away from everybody. Oh, great. He's calling for reinforcements. We totally have to take that turret down before it does something stupid. But look at the turrets. This thing takes 13,000 damage and doesn't die. How is that gonna work? That is high level turrets here. I think that is the highest turret ever. So what would make sense? We could put something there just to annoy them. That would make sense. We should, however, try to take down the turrets fast. So there is the ball of ice. Technically, you could roll over the entire field and put the alchemists into trouble, but that is not what we should do, because that's not going to work on them. We could shackle the other alchemists so that they're not putting their bombs around, but they can, of course, throw their poison on my necromancers. Yay! Chain lightning! Oh, this is so cruel. Because that means we can basically not fight without losses here. That's a bummer. That's how it goes. Sometimes that's how it goes. You cannot fight. Well, you can technically win the entire game without fights. Without losing units. Of course, not without fights, but without losing units. But it will not be that easy. Oh, they're going for the skeletons. Well, if I'm lucky, they're all firing at the skeletons. Oh boy, they're really killing a lot of skellies. And a lot of elves. And some of the demons. Which is not very nice. And why is he up? Hate this guy already. Ta-da! Look at that! We got a little bit of room to maneuver and we already did 1,700 damage. That's quite a lot. Holy cannoli. Time to shoot people. We need to turn back time, but I forgot that. No! No! Oh, God, the pain, the pain. That was like borderline stupid. Cannot revive those losses now, can I? No. I didn't think it through. On the other hand, though, this is more likely the last fight with the old army anyway. Because after this, they will be retired. I think. Yeah, I think I retired the army after this fight. So losses are not that bad. These are only 3 of them and they do 66 damage, even though my defenses are sky high. That is really annoying. He's fast, you have to give him that, holy hell. I have to destroy that turret because this turret will send in forces more and more and more and more. And I really totally forgot about that turn back time thing. That was... oh boy. He's annoying. Well, at least one of them is down. Putting them to sleep will have absolutely no effect whatsoever. Taking the cannoneers, blinding the cannoneers helps some, because the cannoneers do good damage, though. They do extra damage against towers, by the way. So if you're, you know, running around killing towers, that's how it works. Yeah, we're turning back time, but we still lost the majority of the forces, so that was not a good pick. Not by the long run. Terrible choice. Terrible choice indeed. Now, whom to shoot? Oh, the alchemists are faster than I am. Would you have believed it? And they're hitting the elves. Ugh. They're so expensive. I mean, they're really not cheap. Okay, that is the best thing that can happen. They just stopped us from moving a little bit. Reduced our movement. We don't care. We have to somehow... oh, we're sacrificing the elves because we're taking the elves out of action anyway. The necromancers? Will the necromancers be needed? That's the question. Well, the necromancers are more expensive than the elves, you could say. On the other hand, the number of elves we just killed, I think, equals the cost. I only did 6,000 damage. Are you kidding me? That's like insane. Holy hell. This is not going as planned. We do the armor, if only for training purposes. We're not going to max that out anyway, but maxing it out wouldn't help anything. It would could just reduce the cooldown for the armor of Gloth, but that's it. And of course, he calls in reinforcements, because I hate this guy. That at least did some damage. It should be enough to take them out of the crate. No, it did not. Screw me, it did not. 6,000 damage. Can you take the turret down, please? Thank you, sir. You're a blast. Oh boy, look at the losses. You have to be kidding me. Oh no, please not. And that's both garbage. Let's be honest, this is both garbage because we don't need any of those. And our army looks like crap. Okay, doesn't matter. We have to find a way to get rid of all the forces that we're not going to use in the next fights. We refill our demons because demons are good. No matter what, demons get job done. And job done is good. Yeah, we can get rid of these because we're not using these. You can build an army, ghost army, with the warrior, of course, because you get the bonus to initiative and attack. And then you could upgrade them with the armor and the boots that give you physical resistance. And then you kind of build someone who has an extremely high physical resistance ghost build with the cursed ghosts and the normal ghosts. The problem with that idea is that in this game, this runs out of control in seconds. Because there is no limit to it. So, your ghosts kill people, the ghosts get more, the ghosts overcome your leadership, the ghosts run out of control, you have no way of killing them, and they start murdering everyone, and you end up with a gigantic army of ghosts that cannot be stopped. And you lose if you only have armies on the field that are not controlled by you. What do I mean by that? Oh, I didn't kill this guy, did I? Oh, I forgot about him. Oh, you're a level 24 mage. Your army is laughable, sir. That is not even an army. Wizard Vemois. Vemois? Vemerois? Vermois? Oh, it looks like he just stood up from sleeping with that hat. But whatever. That's not the point. Who to kill and how? We're faster than they are, so we can put the Dryads to sleep. And then we just ruin their lives by using our special ability, which is the Dragon Arrow. Remember, 4 mana and you ignore all enemy defense, all enemy resistance. Put this on skeleton archers and they will kill black dragons in the dozens. In the dozens. Look at this damage. Kaboom! We could have killed double the number. Well, maybe not double the number, but more than that anyway. Amazing. Trust me. Absolutely ludicrous. Insane amounts of damage. That was about the worst choice. Oh my god. Yeah, I bet he's casting something like Chain Lightning or something. Or Geyser or something like that, because that's how unfun that is. Oh, a magic bug. That was not nice. That was absolutely not nice. That, however, was very nice. And that was exactly nice. And if I had a quarter brain cell, what I could do was turn back time. Was I clever enough to do that, or didn't I just care for these? I'm officially stupid. You have it now. That was like the worst choice ever. That makes absolutely no sense what I just did there. None. Literally none. I know it's for training purposes, but I could have done everything that would have been more useful than this. Does make no sense to attack them. That will not shock anyone. Okay, we really have to get rid of these fools. And he misses! And gets pummeled. Oh boy. Yep, that's the power of the skeleton, but it was a terrible choice for casting. And She Lights evades everything, and he does what he should not do, the geyser. So this battle goes bad for us no matter what. But again, as far as I see it, this is done anyway because this army is now phased out. This is basically, or I think that's the last battle. Because for all the further battles, we don't need them. They're not of any use for us. It would have made more sense. Yeah, that does nothing. That actually did less than nothing because we just did sacrifice on our dryads. Well, we did the sacrifice on the elven bowmen to get the other people, and now I basically ruined it. Terrible choice. Terrible choice. Hey, crowd. Come on, you can do it. Just try it. It's dangerous though, because maybe she evades. No, she did. Ooh, lucky me. No evasion this time. Very, 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 very good work. Now we cannot buy anything here. Was that clever? I don't think it was. But we got the training. So... okay, where we go next, as hard as it sounds, the necromancers and the bone archers will not be of any use. Because in the next fight, we will fight ourselves. And when you fight yourselves, you don't bring units with you that are totally dangerous and hard to kill. Basically, you don't want anyone that is hard to kill. Skeletons are hard to kill because they're hard to ground control. They cannot be put to sleep. Yes, you can sheep them. Yes, you can blind them. But you know what I mean. You want units that you can crowd control with your dryads. Why? Because the enemy will have the same troops as you. So you take low level, high damage units that can be taken over. Like the fairies. Oh yes. Now you're starting to see the picture. We also have to get rid of the demons. Now you might think, Boris, when they mirror your army, why not just take one dryad and then just kill the other dryad with a spell? Technically yes, practically no, because one of the requirements for the battle that you fight yourself is that you're capable of bringing an entire force. So your leadership basically must be at least partially filled up with forces. Yeah, we could take the Elven Crown because elves like that, and we get bonus to morale and do more damage and critical and all that good stuff. The question is, who should accompany us? It must be someone who can do a lot of damage, who can be put to sleep, easily controllable, and he doesn't take a lot of damage so that we can take it out, if you know what I mean. That's the basic idea. Would be nice if it would be something Elven. Could basically be elven archers, the blue ones, that would work. Werewolves would work, sure, why not? They're low level, they're controllable, they can turn into wolves, not that we need that. We could take the imps with us. The problem with the imps is the imps don't do as much damage with their special ability. They can throw this fireball stuff, which is fun and all, but it doesn't really do that much damage, or at least not as much damage as you might suspect. Because when you fight them, the enemy has them, they do plenty of damage, but it doesn't... It looks like a lot of damage because you feel it more than it actually does. That sounds crazy, right? Kind of isn't. How do I put this into words? When you play this game, at least I can speak from my perspective, when I play this game and I get pummeled, and I lose, I don't know, 10 or 20 or 30% of my troops, is like a catastrophe. My people are dying, I can't have that. That's terrible. And that's why you got the feeling that I get the feeling that the imps and scoffer imps are far worse or far more deadly than they actually are, because they're not doing that much damage. However, I'm speaking of the fireball ability, of course. However, if these guys go basically nuts and go into close combat, they're doing interesting amounts of damage. Like, oh boy. Oh boy. And you have no retaliation against that. They're like working... For those of you who are old enough, which I think almost none of you is... back in the day, there was a game called Battle Isle. There was Battle Isle 1 and Battle Isle 2. You could say it was evolution of 1914 game. The game was called 1914, I guess. So basically, it was a turn-based strategy game, and there was a unit called Buggy, which was a rocket launcher, a buggy with a rocket launcher on top. It could fire 2 hexes, and you could basically run on the enemy, and then fire that stuff, and then in the same turn you can drove back. And that was absolutely ludicrously impressive. You could do crazy stuff with that. Absolutely amazing stuff with that. Now, what to build? So yeah, the buggy. That's basically this imps. Scoffer imps are Battle Isle buggies. You attack, you run, you hit, you run back. It's amazing. Really, really cool stuff. Yeah, you know, see, there's 8 to 10 damage. That's insane. But you have to build an entire army on that. But now you see that the attack, it's now 50% more attack. And the attack value is the same. Actually, it's more with the sword because the sword gives a bonus to attack by 5. So, yeah, forget about that. Spiders are not animals. Which they are! Of course they are! Where did I put the other staff of the baton? The Marshal's baton. Ah, that's the one I was... Is it worth using the telescope? Because we only have 1 archer in the army. So it doesn't make that much sense to use the archer, actually. But hey. It's an elven build at the moment. It might have made more sense to just take the werewolves because they're level 4 as well and they would work as well. I'm wondering if there is a source of dryads or dryads or fairies, lake fairies, sprites that I haven't used because I don't think I'm maxed out on them by now. That might be a problem. It's not bad, it's not crucial that you have you completely filled out, but if your army is too small, he will not allow you to fight. So if you go, I just go with 1 dryad to fight myself, you will not be allowed to. You must have a sizable army, and fun fact, his army will still be bigger than yours. So they take your army and they put a cream on top, basically. Yeah, kind of hurts, but that's how it is. Question is, do we have a way to get our hands on some more dryads, or do we have a way of getting our hands on some more lake fairies? I think the lake fairies are not matched up. No, the lake fairies are the blue ones. The green ones are the sprites. So what we need, or what we actually need, is more sprites. The question is how to get more sprites. Luckily, I was naming everything. Well, you know, making notes where all the forces can be both, and I would suggest you do the same, because otherwise you end up like without any clue where to buy anything. And when you play this game more than once, like me, like a couple of times, you confuse all your playthroughs and you say, I was absolutely 100% sure that there was griffins here, and there were no griffins because you remember a game before that. Very annoying. Very annoying. So write down. Do it better than I did and write the numbers down. And if you buy something out, which you will, delete it from the list. Otherwise, you're going to places for dryads the 3rd time in a row and you bought all the dryads already. And you're like, what the heck? It says dryads to be bought here and there is not a single one of these. That's because you didn't keep track of your inventory or your recruitment stuff. Nice mushroom house, by the way. I think the army is suffice. There is one more tree here. Maybe we can buy some there. Not sure I wrote that down. And it's, yay, beautiful. I think we have, except for the dryads, we have full force. Full force. Which is amazing. Okay. We need to get to Kandahar. Fly around and see a spar. These airships. Beautiful stuff. This is the king. You could technically take the dwarves because of the axe. The dwarves are using axes. The berserkers are using axes. The barbarians are using axes, and the demons are using axes. So if you're going for that axes thing, that would be the troops you use. At the moment, we don't have any axe troops, so it doesn't make a sense to use the battle axe, because it doesn't really work. What does work is, of course, the dagger, because the dagger does +1 extra damage, and we've got a lot of forces with all those sprites going on. Same is for the whip. However, keep in mind that we cannot use the succubi for this fight, because the succubi are level 4. We cannot put them to sleep. That would be the exact opposite of what we want. The idea is that the enemy, ourselves, will never get a turn to do anything. Does this work? I'm not even sure that works. Because yes, they're small forces, but they're not using any weapons in the sense. I mean, the Dragon Sword is still +5 attack. We're not fighting any demons, so that sword will not do that much anyway. Flying and soaring makes a lot of sense, because the Spites and the Dryads and the Lake Fairies are all soaring. +1 initiative to all troops would work technically, but we need our baton. The baton give a bonus to morale to all humans. Well, not technically all humans, because barbarians and berserkers are humans too, but they count as neutrals. So you're not doing, you're not getting a morale bonus for them. You're only getting bonuses for king's troops, so to speak. Yay, giants! Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Do I find the elevator? That's the question. Do I find the elevator that leads us to the area where we can fight ourselves? And it does! How beautiful is that? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. We can fight ourselves. It shouldn't be that hard with this army, although the principle is the same. You see, this is ourselves. And he has a little bit more forces than we have, technically speaking. But we're more clever than he is. He has no chance because he will never get a turn. If everything goes as planned. It's your Double who will fight you. Well, he does. He will try to. We can go in all guns blazing because there is nothing he can do. There is no retaliation against sprites. We have the ring of morale of female, which means all females get +3 attack, +3 defense, +3 movement, +3 initiative, +3 movement. Think what you have to do to get +3 movement in this game. This is insane. Absolutely ludicrous in effectiveness. 32,000 damage. I think that is the highest ever. I think that even beats the living hell out of the skeleton archers. We're not going to throw any fireballs because that is not going to do anything. Yeah, we could kill the imps. Just because they're in the way. And we did. Question is, do we want to cast something? We could cast something to get an extra turn. We could cast something for them to get more damage. For example, Doom or something like that. We could cast Plague because they're all living units. But so are we. We would infect ourselves and our attack value would be reduced. So that's not a good choice. Kind of hard. Doom, I think, is the best choice against the big units. So we have a higher chance of killing them, because that means everything we do will be a critical attack. And when you look now at the damage potential, it isn't that high, sadly. And super kill, 43,000 damage, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, I think, the new height. 23,000 is excellent, but is no longer of any importance to us. We should not attack, because if we attack and they survive, you know, losing turns and stuff, not funny. They will get the turn, unless, like now, we waited and they just wasted their turn for doing nothing, for sleeping on the job. So, okay, little guy here. No, we're not going to throw fireballs. That is useless. Don't throw fireballs. Idiot. But didn't make any difference. But still, perfection. Perfection, ladies and gentlemen. Where is the will for perfection? Nobody knows. It's just gone. Down she goes. 8,000 damage was enough to ruin her day and life and everything. That was not enough to kill this guy. You're kidding me. Holy cannoli. These archers are tough cookies, I tell you that much. So we're done, we're done. We're done with everyone just to get it under control, and then we kill that. We could soul train them. That would do the most damage, technically speaking. Should get on the side. Her evasion only works against works only against males, so she cannot avoid our attack. And down she goes. And that's a win. So, 65,000, some experience, no losses. That's how you fight yourself. Yeah, pretty nice. We didn't get anything, but we think if we will get until when we talk to him again. That's I think how it works. Well, see you all next time.